Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv and welcome to another Friday night social. These just seem like they're coming thick and fast at the moment, but we've got some guests on tonight, our usual suspects, well, some of them anyway, and what we've also got is a guest from West Ham Irons United, and that's Sess, and we'll speak to Sess very shortly. But first up, let's bring him in. Hey up, Chris. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, Andy. Yourself?
Yeah, very good.
How are your legs?
Yeah, my back's worse after today. That's maybe something Chris knows what I've got into today. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about it later. But we'll keep on the Man City theme and the rather than what I've been getting up to today. But anyway, glad you're on, buddy. Over to Melbourne in Australia. Sir Alan, how are you, mate?
How are you doing? I'm all right, good. Thank you very much. Had a busy week at work, which has been good. Yeah. Good win on Wednesday night, as you know, so that kept me in a good mood all week.
Good.
So everything's all good, to be honest with you, mate. Everything's all good.
You need to tell that Steve Barsley stop picking on Raheem.
Mate, it's funny. It's funny because in the pub, everyone has the player that they don't like, okay, or they don't fancy. And every time he gets the ball and loses it, he pipes up. Well, how does he get 400 grand a week? Blah, 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 blah. But that's all part of the fun when you go to the pub and watch it. It's we've all done like that.
Of course it is, mate. Well, listen, thanks for coming again, and thanks for the videos the other night, mate. They were very good.
No worries.
We've got Kurt. How are you doing, mate?
I'm sound as a pound, mate. Not too bad at all. Bit tired, but really looking forward to this. I always enjoy the West Ham game. I've got a lot of friends at West Ham, them down my way, so it's always a good game to watch.
Okay, we've got a guest on tonight, and we're going to talk about West Ham and the preview tomorrow. And this is Sess from the West Ham United. I need to get this right.
West Ham United. No, you got it.
West Ham Irons United. Because I was Irons United, and I was thinking, no, that's what we should give you your full name. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Surprised of how the season's gone at the moment. Who would have thought that we'd be in the position that we're in? Because I certainly didn't, along with many West Ham fans, certainly didn't think we'll be in the position that we're in. The way the season went last season, and the way the first game went, I had no confidence whatsoever because that Newcastle game was utter dross, to be honest with you. And we were just thinking of the worst. But then, as performances started going, something just clicked for some reason. All of a sudden, we just turned into different animals, and it shocked me. And I'm loving this at the moment. I might as well just enjoy it, just see how this pans out. To be honest with you,
nice one. Well, listen, we've got some questions for you tonight. What we want to start with is, how's your season been overall? Because you're in a position where I don't think many opposition fans, probably West Ham fans, would have thought you would be, but you are flying high at the moment. How's your season been overall before we get into sort of the game tomorrow and things like that?
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been completely mental. But, like I said, us fans, we just got to enjoy it at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 5-6 games. We're just going to take it every game as it comes, starting with you lot tomorrow. But, we're just enjoying it at the moment. We're enjoying what Moyes is doing because a lot of us, we didn't really see like the positive in Moyes. The second time around, we didn't really see the positives, but then we gave him a chance. Thought, why not? You know what? Let's just back Moyes. Let's back the team.
Yeah,
we've got our own like issues with the board, but we don't want to drag that into the team really. And then from there, he's just brought a couple of players in, and then all of a sudden it's just clicked, and it's just a complete difference in the whole team in general. You could see it, the way they train, the way they are all together. It's just, we've not had that since the 15-16 season. It's not had that in a long time. It's just ever since we've moved into the new stadium, everything's just been toxic from like left to right, centre. But with the team now, at the moment, sky's the limit. At the moment, we just got to enjoy it, just have fun with it. Man.
But you're talking about an exceptional player. But the rumours are Mbappe's going to Real Madrid anyway and be the highest paid player in world football after Messi and Ronaldo leaves. But I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting.
Since you've only paid 65 million maximum,
that's our biggest transfer.
That's our biggest transfer. There's a lot of players in the Premier League that have been brought to club for a lot higher than that. And City are not even in the top 20.
No,
they're not.
People don't realise that. People don't realise that.
But I think the thing there, Alan, is you've just asked to get Joe Felix, mate, and there's no way he's leaving Atletico for Madrid.
Yeah.
Anything less they bought him for.
I know. But what do we do? We've never paid over 65 million for anyone.
We might go and get Antonio, and Pep will turn him into.
Yeah.
you just go get my boy Valvec. I just want to so badly. One day.
Well, we can always get Suchek and Antonio, and we can,
I'm not hearing it. Not entertaining.
Well, listen. This brings us to the end of the Friday Night Social Part 1 preview with Cess and the guys over on West Ham Lions United. And I want to say a massive thank you to Cess for coming on. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers for having me on. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
You've been a star. And you can find the link to their YouTube channel. Go over and whatever you do, make sure you subscribe to it. And appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Maybe you will. Maybe you will be that team that stops this run, because I know a lot of the journalists can't wait for it to happen. And then, you'll be David Moyes will be the next sort of pre-nuptial signing at Manchester City as the next Man City manager when Pep leaves, because he was the one. Yeah, the chosen one. It's been brilliant talking to you. It's going to be a good game. I know it will be a good game. It always is a good game against West Ham. There you go. Ross says, top geezer. There you go. Ronnie says, cheers, Cess. Good luck for the rest of the season after tomorrow. Man like Cess, says Tyrone. Cess, thanks for coming on, says Lassiel Blur. So Kurt's back on. So is Alan, and there you go. Surprise, surprise, he's changed it up. That's a nice top, actually. I quite like that, mate.
Yeah, that's good. 1972, 73, third kit.
Yeah, it's nice.
And because it was Colin's birthday today.
There you go.
Whoa, I've just demolished it.
Sir Alan Bean, we're going to call him from now on.
Yeah, fucking Frank Spencer.
Yes, absolutely.
I've just pulled off the mic. I pulled it out. It's gone everywhere. Well, there we go. Comedy hour.
We've got we've got 3 questions. Kurt, Chris, and Frank Spencer are going to.
Change the name as well.
There you go. I've got some brilliant questions for tonight, and there's also the poll, which is surrounding the one that Alan's going to come to, and he's going to ask that question. But first up tonight is Kurt, and it's all about Bernardo and Kevin De Bruyne. So while I change Alan's name back to where it is, Kurt, what is your question tonight?
The main principle of my question is obviously at the beginning of the season we saw Kevin De Bruyne playing quite high up the pitch and Bernardo not featuring as much, and obviously since Kevin De Bruyne had his injury, I believe it was the 21st of January, we've seen Bernardo basically fill in every single game. The question is the system going to change slightly when Kevin De Bruyne comes back, or how are we going to set up? Are we going to slightly change our midfield setup? Because obviously we've been seeing Bernardo playing a little bit deeper, allowing Cancelo to move on, and Gundogan playing higher up the pitch. So does that mean we're going to push Bernardo over to the left of the midfield to rest Gundogan, and then KDB plays midfield? I just want to know the dynamics of the change, because obviously we've been such an imperious form. What people's opinions are, because obviously we know that Cancelo and Bernardo Silva seem to have a fantastic relationship, and whether Cancelo's role's going to change slightly with Kevin De Bruyne being put in the midfield. So it was more of a holistic thing, more so than just a question of where Kevin. A simple question is where Kevin's going to be featuring in our team this season.
And you can see people here have all got their opinions on, what they think.
I think the main comments, a lot of the people in the comments are talking about rotation, but my point isn't about rotation. I understand.
No.
When it comes to it's just the one game left. That one game we got to play. That's what I'm talking about. That's when decision in the starting 11 becomes so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
I think in that circumstance, you've got to trust Pep, haven't you?
I'm certainly.
There's no reason why you wouldn't. But I think that Bernardo is one of those players who is better at smothering the opposition than KDB is.
Yeah, I agree.
He's, as you say, he's great at transitioning the ball through, but he doesn't create the chances that Kevin creates. So it's a tough call because they both do very important jobs when they're on the field. Very different jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great question, Kurt, I think, and it's a hard one to sort of really
discuss the answer, because none of us are going to have the answers. It's just about
no, of course not.
We can have, like I said, we can have Cancelo playing as the left back and have Bernardo on the left side. They still have their link up, but it always comes at the expense of one player. I think that's the most likely thing. If I was to say we had a final tomorrow, I think it would be the Cancelo on the left side, Bernardo on the left side, Kevin on the right, and Gundogan to get dropped. That's just the way I think it would happen. But we've got so many options, and it is so difficult to pick the 11. That's what our squad does so good.
It's not a question that we decide what's going to happen. Man City, that's for Pep, and that's why he's the genius that he is. But it's very interesting. It is so difficult because, as I said, it's not like other squads where you're going, well, this guy has got to play. You've got to play him because he's the best. We have got, this guy's got to play. Hold on a minute. But hold on a minute. This guy's got to play because he brings this. Yeah, I know, but Kevin De Bruyne brings 15. Yeah, well, hold on a minute. Then you've got Phil Foden, who's got far more goals and assists than Bernardo Silva, and we've got this.
Most other clubs only argue between one or two players in a position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bailly or Lindelof? Is it Thiago or Wijnaldum? These are the debates they have. We have who the hell's going to play? Because we only know, for me, 3 players that are always going to play with their fit is like Diaz, Eddie, and Raz. They're the 3 people that I don't think Pep would ever. It'd take him anywhere he goes, mate. I think he loves them all that much.
Yeah, and I touched on it before. Is the defense? Suddenly we now don't look like conceding goals. We guys want to concede goals, but we don't look like conceding goals, which is a big thing. Okay.
On that, Alan, just before I go off that, but they're going to just make a point there. A lot of the times this season, we're playing with 3 at the back.
Yeah, we're playing with 3 at the back when we've got the ball, but when we haven't got the ball, we're going at 4 at the back. So, but it's not always the fullback who's coming back, is it? You're relying on Rodri sometimes to fill in a position there. You're relying on Rodri or Bernardo's filling the positions, especially if Cancelo's playing on the right hand side. So Bernardo can do that well, and he's proven he can. The actual flexibility and the fluidity of the team is a lot different. But the main point of it is that for the first time since 2010, in my opinion, we've got a defence now that looks solid. Up until this year, even when Vinny was there, we were always liable to concede goals. Okay, you'd probably say Mancini's team sorted it out, but we didn't have the talent that we've got there now.
It's easy goal every time. But what we've been doing now is we put that 3, whether it's Kyle Walker, Laporte, Stones, Diaz, whatever 3, we stick that 3. The 2 in front of them are compact, so we have that 5-man block, and we just defend so well because of that. And it's all down to the change, because we all know Pep's mainly, he always talks about his fullbacks and how much he likes his fullbacks, but he's really changed it this season, and it's all down to that width on the wings for me, Chris.
Yeah. Andy?
What was the question?
Oh, damn it.
Well, really,
I was listening. It was in the background, and I was listening, and I noticed about flexibility and squad rotation because I wrote that down. Obviously, when I mentioned it at the beginning, but then obviously I missed your first bit, so I didn't know whether the question had slightly morphed or whether it was still the same.
No, it's just asking how your legs are.
I know the knackered, the goose, mate. I'm a back.
No, it's really, Andy. We're talking about the resurgence of City this season, and I think it's easy to sort of say Diaz has had this, and he has had a huge impact on the season. But is there anything else that you can identify that kind of has seen this change in not just players' form seems to be that everyone who comes into the team is playing to a very good standard. I was wondering if there's, like Kurt's just there with inverted wingers and the wingers staying out wide. Is there anything you've seen that's kind of?
My biggest thing is I think we can. Yeah, I'm sure you've all discussed to death about the inverted wingers and Cancelo playing this. It's really Pep's done it before, but I don't think he's done it as much as he's done with Cancelo. I think Cancelo is really sort of. We've seen Delph in that role. We've seen Walker go inside, and we've seen others and things. But I think he's done something different with Cancelo this year.
Yeah,
he's tried to make him. He's tried to force the likes of a Rodri and others to sit behind him, or a Fernandinho, sit behind him. When he goes forward, somebody cover him, somebody be in just deep behind him, and make sure that if we're going to commit him in that way, somebody must make sure that they cover him, because we know that he can give the ball away in some dodgy areas.
Yeah.
But what he brings going forward is absolutely phenomenal. But let's put all of that to one side, because Pep is a genius. We know Pep is a genius. We've seen it from day one. What he did with Delph, what he's done with Zinchenko, what he did with Fernandinho, putting him as a centre back. He's played Rodri as a centre back. He's put John Stones as a central midfielder. He's done all of these things, but that's just Pep. I think this season in particular, I think he's really got the squad in a mindset, a winning mentality. You will work every single minute, every single second. And I think that dropped off a bit last year. I think we looked leggy, we looked tired, we didn't look. Sometimes we'd seen players last season and we did the post-match stuff and everything outside the stadiums and things like that. And you were looking at certain players, and Kevin De Bruyne was one of them. So was Raheem Sterling. So were many of the other big teams, Sergio Aguero. And you were going, did they really put in 100%? Did they really bust the gut for the shirt, really, and the badge? Did they really? And that's rarely ever questioned of a Pep team, rarely. And I think this season, it's been, and we're seeing it now. Look how bloody good this is.
Can I just jump in, Andy?
Yeah, sure.
You were just making the point about last season. Let's also not forget that Pep's contract situation wasn't resolved.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I think that's
the thing. That's a really big point in terms of he's committed his future here, and that's probably given the squad going, oh yeah, we're going again. We got him for 2 years. He's not going nowhere. You know what I mean? I think that really doesn't need to be understated. Sorry to jump in. I just wanted to make that.
No, point. I think it's a very, very good point. I think it's absolutely relevant. You're always going to get a bit of issues within a squad when the manager, who obviously has brought a huge amount of success to the team, is suddenly, well, we don't know. And that's the thing. We don't know. He might have been all along with the squad and everything, going, "Don't worry about it. I'm here and that." We don't know. But if he's not signing a contract and he get all the media, all the mainstream media, and social,
it's just noise, isn't it?
Yeah, noise. That exactly perfect word. Noise. That noise in the background, and the players sometimes can be a little bit distracted by that. And then the agents might start going, "Is he not signing a contract?" Oh, I tell you what, Raz. And I'm not singling out Raz because I have no idea what Raz's agent has said, but I'm just sort of giving you an example, Kevin De Bruyne's agent or whoever, anyone's agent. Well, if Pep's not going to be here, you're going to be happy because maybe we could get you a move too, and I can get a nice 10%, 15%, bonus and blah blah. And suddenly, all these things start rearing their head. Where when you've got a manager that is here for the next 5 years, then that's the 5 years or whatever. That doesn't mean to say that they can't be sacked. But I just can see a completely different mindset in the players, and you're probably spot on with that comment, Kurt, because let's face it, when did he sign his when was it announced? Was it November? Was it November, the end of November, he announced the extended 2-year contract after this season? I think it was, I might be wrong.
I'm not good with dates.
Somebody can correct me in the comments, but I think it was around about October, November where it was announced that he was going to extend his contract by 2 years. It's no surprise that since then, or pretty much since then, we've seen a different City team. We've seen a real determined City team, and every player now knows. And the difference being now, in addition to that, is that everyone apart from Nathan Ake is fit.
Like that, and it's just crediting back to the thing that these are the type of people you want at the club. The people who love our club, that love being here, that love the fans, they love what the opportunity they've been given. And Zinchenko's just literally, if you could have a poster boy for that, he's the one.
Why do we get him on Friday Night Social?
Well,
we might have the time, mate. We might have the time.
No, he's too busy with his notebook and his missus, isn't he?
You cannot say anything, I don't think, against Zinchenko. Even if he's not a player that you particularly like, he's been
superb.
Ultimate professional, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Professional.
1.7 million. 1.7 million.
Unbelievable.
And it does make
we made money on him from the two loan spells to De Jong and PSV. We made money on him. They were paid loan fees. We made 1.5 million.
Before Christmas, right? I was pretty adamant we needed to get a left back in, right? And that's with Mendy going. If Mendy goes, I'm not overly concerned if we don't get a left back in. I am.
We will get one. We will get one. We will.
I think Chris's statement there. I agree. As it stands at the moment, and we know how things change very quickly.
Yeah.
I'd be overly concerned if we didn't get a left back. I would like a new left back, but if Mendy went and whoever,
my hot take.
But I wouldn't be overly concerned with Zinchenko there and Cancelo and the possibility of, if people who always shout about re-signing Angelino and I wouldn't be overly concerned. I still think we possibly need another top quality left back, in my opinion. But what position Pep is in?
We've got Ake though. I think he's going to play a lot of games.
We've got Laporte as well, haven't we? I mean, we've got
lots of options.
It's a plethora, and I actually feel. I mean, one thing they did say on that vlog was, I think they mentioned the fact that Nathan Ake, 40 million quid, will in the summer City sell him for a profit because he's not needed.
What is wrong with it? What is wrong with him? What actual injury?
Muscle injury.
What, for 3.5 months?
Sometimes these.
I think it got retested. I think
it happened. I think it happened again, didn't it?
In his rehabilitation phase, that's what I was read. Anyway, I don't know how true that was.
It's not even 2 months yet, Alan. So
it's about 6 weeks.
It feels longer than it is because of how many games we play, mate.
Yeah, it's true.
In terms of game misses, he's missed a lot of games, but I think it's just like we're just playing every 2 or 3 days, isn't it?
That was a brilliant question again. Got tough ones tonight on Man City Fan TV. There are ones that we can't just come up with just our own opinion or things like that. It's one that we've had to talk, give an opinion, but then we've changed our mind and then we brought others in. It's been two great questions, which leads us on to the final question of tonight. Before we wrap up, we've got about 10 minutes or so left. But Alan, this is all about a false nine or not.
Yeah. Whatever way you look at it, obviously during the season, with Sergio being out for such a long time now, a year, and only just coming back.
There's another tenner.
And Jesus being in and out with injuries as well. We've been forced into playing a false nine, and over time, it's getting better and better and better the way we're playing with a false nine. And the whinges of about saying we need to buy a striker, has diminished over the season. So now that Sergio's back and Jesus is fit, do we persist with the false nine, or do we go with a number 9 now? What's the view of everybody else on the panel and people at home as well, of especially now we're coming to the nitty-gritty time of the year where the big games are coming in and we get into the latter stages of the Champions League?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is the haircuts? No. Okay.
It's Julio. It's Chris. Julio's Chris's favourite fan.
Oh, okay.
Well, Chris has got a few, to be fair.
He has got a few. He has got some followers. Go on.
I call Chris the smiling assassin because he says nothing for ages and just smiles, doesn't he? And you know something's brewing, you know.
Because we're always talking and he's just up with all the comments. Maybe he should be the one controlling the comments.
I know.
He's laughing and I look at him going, exactly. What's he laughing at, man?
I know. You do. You think, what's he thinking? Yeah, what's he thinking? So anyway, do we persist with the false 9 and keep it going because it seems to be working, especially when we're coming to the nitty-gritty end of the season where the better teams are playing against us? We're going for the title, we're going for the Champions League, and the better sides are playing. Do we persist with the false 9, or do we now revert back to having a full striker on the pitch and playing that routine? What do you think? I'll go Kurt first because he's tactically quite good.
It's a really tough one, really, because if you were to just say in a game in isolation and you have a fit Aguero and you're choosing to not play a fit Aguero, seems really preposterous. But given obviously what we've seen over the last however many games, we seem to be really good at that because it allows players to not have to be sort of stuck in their position as much, the interchange. And it sort of comes back to that point we were talking about with the would you rather have the Kevin De Bruyne having the chances and Sergio on the end of them sort of thing. I think it comes back to that. For me, I wouldn't be upset if we carried on playing with the false 9. I just think when it comes down to this crunch game, how can you leave a man like Sergio out of the starting 11? That's what it just comes down to for me. And if it would be anyone else, any other striker, I'd say stick with that false 9. But I don't know whether it's sentimental value that's probably swaying my decision a little bit. But I just can't see how you could not put Sergio back in if he's fit. But that's the question: is he may be fit to play, but is he fit and firing? That's a completely different question.
Go on, Chris. The smiling assassin.
I just downloaded something earlier, and I was just trying to find it.
How's the whiskies going, Chris? Are they going
mate, I was going down very nice. I'm slowing down because I'm getting a bit, get heading that way. Anyway, I think that this is a really, really good question, Alan, for starters, because we have played really well all season, pretty much without a striker.
Yeah.
And if Sergio doesn't play, there is not a chance in hell that he's going to sign it. He's going to be here next season. And is Sergio ready for letting go? Is he the player that he was? We just don't know if we don't play him. But if we do play him, is it going to sort of affect the way we've played the whole of this season and what's been successful? I think it's a really huge question because there's no doubt Sergio Aguero is the best striker Manchester City has ever had in my lifetime. I can't go back to Eric Brook and Fred Dyson.
Oh, sure you can.
No, well, I can't, unfortunately, Andy. Those guys are obviously legends of the club, but Sergio in our time has just been sensational. And I thought when he came on against Gladbach, he looked fitter than he usually does when he comes back from injury. He looked sharper than he usually does. And the guy can stick the ball in the net like no other player in the Premier League, in my opinion. So it's one of those with Sergio. It's another conundrum for Pep to try and work his head round. Could it be an opportunity for Pep to actually say goodbye to Sergio? Because we all know we all know Pep. You know, he would play a midfielder in every position on the pitch, bar goalkeeper.
That's the question for you, Chris.
If he could,
That's the question for you now. Or let's say, for argument's sake, this is a good question. If Pep decides that Sergio's bye-bye at the end of the season, and he doesn't go out for a striker and goes out for a false nine type player, would you be happy with that? Stroke, would the fans be happy with that? Take away the sentiment about Sergio for 1 second and think, well, he doesn't go for Haaland. He goes for a false nine type player and goes with that next season.
It wouldn't surprise me, Alan. It really would not surprise me. I trust everything in Pep. Pep deserves all of our trust because the guy has produced in bucket loads. You know, the trophies just roll in with this guy. And like you mentioned earlier with João Felix. João Felix is probably a perfect Pep player. He probably could come. He probably could come into this team and play in that front three, probably anywhere within that front three.
Yeah.
And he probably could, and he probably would get a bucket load of goals. I think he's a great player.
Bernardo, Foden, KDB playing in that, because it seems to have worked, to be fair. It seems to have worked.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to a tweet on the 27th of July, 2011. And that was by Ollie Holt, obviously of the Daily Mail. Ollie Holt, you all know Ollie Holt from the Sunday Supplement and Daily Mail journalist.
Yeah.
I want to remind you that he did say...
A journalist?
Well, no, that's what he calls himself. No, I'm being fair to him. That's what he calls himself. He calls himself a journalist, so I have to... I have to say what he calls
he's a Liverpool fan.
Well, this was his post. Aguero will be the highest profile signing of the summer so far. Still think Charlie Adam to Liverpool could.
Delusion does run deep. What can I say?
Is this Scouser? What do you expect?
And there you go. No, he claims to be a bit of a City fan. To be fair to him, he does claim to be a bit of a City fan, a Stockport County fan, and whatever else. But it seems like he's a fan of every team that whatever suits his profile and on the day. But yeah, it's just interesting there. You talk about Sergio Aguero, and you go back to 10 years ago, and Charlie Adam was going to be a much better signing for Liverpool than Sergio Aguero, and here we are talking about that most pundits say is the greatest striker in the Premier League. There you go. I will do Man City. Well, not Man City TV. Well, you can put Man City TV if you want to. You can go on there naked. TV. Man City TV. Come on.
Did you? I take it you got a video off Ross with his kid.
I have. I was just waiting for Ross to give me the okay because it's not something we would normally do. But
he wants that, mate.
I know he does. I've got it. That's what I was doing before when I came back to you. Going, sorry, what was the question?
All right,
I was actually downloading it, but Ross needs to. He went over a bump. There you go. He went over a bump. He meant Man City Fan TV. We'll hold you to that. So, Ross, can you give me the okay if I show your little one with his proper Manc accent? So hopefully this will work.
In Melbourne.
It's Australian, but because
go for it, done it.
Because his dad's such a Manc. This is him watching football back with his dad. And you can hear his City. He's still a proper man. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, proper blue, junior blue, brainwashed big time. Yeah. He said it the right way as well. He said in Melbourne, no Aussie accent, no Aussie accent.
Can you believe? Can you believe that that child has only been brought up around Manc accents and then surrounded by Australian accents and still says "City, city"?
Brilliant.
Absolutely superb.
Banana scores on Wednesday. Brilliant.
There you go.
I don't want to break this to Ross, but definitely Shane Warne's.
What was that?
Yeah, haircut. Shane Moore's haircut. Absolutely. Yeah.
Got a warn here.
Shane
totally.
It's a surfer look, in it. They're trying to go for the blonde.
It's the surfer look. He
Yeah.
lives about 3 miles from the beach, so he's going for the surfer look.
Yeah, surfer look, in it. No. I want to say a massive thank you to those guys. If you are a West Ham fan or if you're a football fan and you want to go and follow what those guys talk about on their YouTube channel, it's in the description below. So the link to that YouTube channel is there. But again, another massive thank you to all the guys over at West Ham Irons United. And I want to say a massive thank you to these guys. Kurt, thank you very much, mate.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. It's a great part of the Friday nights, mate. Coming to chat with you guys and everybody in the comments. It's always a great laugh. And it was a lot of fun discussions tonight, a lot of things to talk about. And always nice to chat to the West Ham fans. Always nice to chat to them.
It is. Nice picture in the background. Chris, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. I'm hanging in there. I just want to say,
I just sort of saw a little bit of that then, and I was thinking, you are all right?
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I think it's been a great show tonight. I thought Seth was a brilliant guest to have on.
Yeah, great.
What a lovely bloke. I think some of the discussions we had tonight afterwards have been really thoughtful, and so I thank Kurt and Alan for their part in that as well, because it isn't just so it's nice to come on and talk a bit deeper about City than we sometimes do. So thank you for my bottle of whiskey, Andy. Very much appreciated. It probably won't be around after the weekend, but thank you very much indeed.
You've been gone tonight.
I'm surprised it's still around now.
I'm behaving myself. I just want to thank everyone in the comments for staying on and giving your aim. And there's been a great laugh in there tonight. Julio, give me a call, mate.
Brilliant. Duke says this is the best for City Fan Channel League. So thank you very much, mate. Alan, thank you so much for coming on, mate, and changing your tops as usual. You've been a superstar, and that's a bloody good top. That is a nice.
Great. It's great. I'll try not to pull the mic out this time.
I didn't know it came in that size, Alan.
It does. Extra large. But there we go. So
we're all in that size now, mate. Maybe not. He's a spring chicken.
It'll come, Kurt. Don't you worry.
I'm not worried about that.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Our day always comes, mate. Sooner or later.
Absolutely. Sam Martin says, "Night, guys." Julio's very pleased, and he's got his big love eyes there for Chris. Thinks it's quite funny. Get a poll going. Should Charlie have a weekly haircut feature? Hashtag haircut feature. That I'm prepping for and everything else. And I don't want to just throw out some crappy video on the channel. I want to do something that is a bit gives you all the information that you need to know. But it will be out soon, I do promise you. That is my next task on Man City Fantasy. One of many. It's been brilliant tonight. The Friday Night Social is always a pleasure. It wasn't one we were going to continue when the season restarted. It was purely for the COVID lockdown when there was no football. But it's been that good getting the guys like Kurt and Alan and Ross and Carl and Martin and all the other people on the channel who come on that we just decided to continue it. And that way we can amalgamate sometimes a preview into the Friday Night Social as well. So there you go. Fantastic show. Was looking forward to it at work. Thank you, Tyrone. Jacket Man says, see you, Charlie says, Tyrone, sorry, just keep the time go to press it. Jacket Man says, cheers again, lads. Take care. Fingers crossed for a win tomorrow. Absolutely. See you, says Charlie. Alex says, should be thousands on here. Well, they should be, but they're not. But we're fine with the people who are coming on this channel because, if I'm guessing if we had 20, 30,000 people commenting, we won't be able to read all your comments and interact with you the way that we do. We just wouldn't have time. That's not to say we won't like 20, 30,000 on, but we're enjoying what we're doing right now for you guys. It's great to create this little sort of channel, and it is a little channel. We're not a Mark Goldbridge, even though he likes. You don't think that City have any big fan channels and things like that. Well, that's fine. He can keep his Nottingham-based sort of approach to fake fanism, whatever he likes. We would just.
Who's that, Andy?
Oh, sorry, Brent. No, Sandra. I can't remember which name he is, which one he is.
Oh, yeah.
But
he knows what the outside of Old Trafford looked like.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah. No, I think he has been corporate a few times, bless him.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, I think he has been corporate.
What a
few
bell
times.
end.
I know. It is quite fun. But it's successful. And he appeals to a certain fan base, and that's absolutely fine. He does that for a living. So fair play to him. He's made a good living out of it. But I'm more interested in. And I think
one banana, two banana, three banana, four.
Yeah, I think as City fans, we're more interested in chatting each other about football rather than just trying to make as much money from a channel as you possibly can. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a wonderful. Well, we're now into Saturday morning. Enjoy the game tomorrow, whatever you do, and we'll be back at some point. And Ross says,
Quick one.
Ruining football and YouTube. There you go. We get blamed. But take care. Have a great evening. Go on, Alan, quickly.
Quick one. 11:30 the Imperial tonight. The Melbourne Blues will be in there watching the game. So come down. The Imperial's on the corner of Burke Street and Spring Street in City Centre, Melbourne.
There you go. Go if you're in Melbourne, go over to watch the game. At the Imperial, but if not, enjoy the game tomorrow. We will be back doing something at some point tomorrow, I'm sure, even if it's just a quick vlog, chatting about how City got on against West Ham. It's going to be a tough one, but as usual, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, give it a thumbs up before you go. And I want to thank these superstars for coming on the channel. I do appreciate it, and so do all of you lot. But take care. We'll see you soon.